That. As for this incredible gentleman, his name is Richard Fraser. I'm sure most of you already heard his name or you went through his website at some point if you are trading a bit long enough. So Richard is a creator and developer of the innovating and exclusive Mind Muscles program. And with this name, of course, you can find a lot on the internet on his website. Anyhow, I'm going to share a link at the end of this session with you guys, so you can go and search a bit more. And how I know Richard is the private conversation with money. Okay, that's his book. And I think from now we are ready to go. Richard, welcome to Market Talk series by Admirals.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And when we had a preliminary talk and the questions you asked, I think are going to really develop into an interesting session here because, you know, you can argue about whether psychology of trading is 50% or 80% or 100%. But we all know that the mindset matters. And what I work on is how can we move our mindset from repeating trading behaviors that don't serve us to being in the flow, in rapport with a market and ourselves, and have just a great experience trading.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Richard, if you allow me, how long you've been in the industry, how long you are trading? I know that you, as you shared with me, you used to trade back in the merchandise on the floors, where people used to wear those nice costumes.
Yes.
And yeah, how long have you been trading? What
you're going to do is everyone's going to be able to calculate how old I am.
They're going to reach until 45, maybe.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I started with Merrill Lynch in 1980. I then went to Chicago. I traded on the Mercantile Exchange, the Board of Trade, and then I worked out here at the San Francisco Pacific Stock Exchange, where I traded options. I built my own trading firm eventually. And from there, what I discovered was the traders that I hired, some of them, like a third of them, would just use my methodology and just start making money. A third of them would do okay, but a third of them would struggle. And that's where I learned and started building the methodology. How do we go from struggle to rapport?
Also, so developing that methodology, did you find out any repetitive patterns among humans, or does it necessarily, is it a major importance of what sort of academic background some people have in order to be successful as traders?
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting question, because on the floor, we would get a lot of PhDs coming down because options are complex. We'd get a lot of academics with a lot of theory around options, but most of them got just blown out of the water. The people who made the most money and actually some of them would make a lot and then lose a lot. They were the street savvy, the street smart guys, and not necessarily the academics. Because in trading, there is a very visceral market street approach to it. And we've incorporated those experiences in our training and in our, in the work that we do with our clients.
Awesome. Awesome. So at this stage, to let everyone knows on this webinar, guys, feel free to use the chat box for any questions you want to ask Richard. At the end, I will leave about 10 to, if there are a lot of questions, we can even go for 15 minutes to go through as many as possible questions we can. So we will answer them. Richard will answer them, not we. I'm the interviewer. Okay. So should I go to the first
Sure.
point of the discussion? Yep. All right.
Okay, so here, what are the issues that you face as a trader? And if you want to click it again, we can start. There we go. Making impulse trades, mistrades, over trading, repeating the same errors, stress, fear of loss, jumping from system to system, not discipline, letting big losses run, feeling stuck, fear of failure. Oh my gosh, cutting our winners short, lack of confidence, ruled by emotion, afraid to lose money, afraid to pull the trigger, and self-sabotage. So please note which of these, if they changed, what would make the biggest difference in your P&L? And that's what we're looking for. So you can enter those into the chat box, or during the question and answer period, we can go into depth.
Wow.
So the question now is, what do we want? Where do we want to be? And you can go on to the next slide and start the automation. So the traders that come to me, what they want is to enjoy the power of discipline, self-mastery, enjoying the challenge, cutting the losses, letting profits run, trading with focus and flow, feeling joyful, increasing size with comfort, consistent profitability, becoming a professional, setting free from financial worries, managing risk, calm and relaxed, loving the challenge, the joy of discipline, executing your strategy, financial freedom with self-confidence, real-time self-awareness, and feeling great trading. So, and persistence and resilience. So the question is, how do we get from, let's go to the first slide. You can click it again. How do we get from here and the issues that we face to here? And click it again. Ooh, there you go. So this is where I live and breathe. What are the issues? How do we do this? And what's interesting is that we started with just behaviors of the traders that I worked with. How can we change their behaviors? And then it turns out that there were just repeated errors, that same mistakes over and over again. They would say, swearing, and say, I'll never do that again. And then there's something that triggered and they repeat the same mistake. So then we have to look at the levels of change. And let's go to the next slide and look at the levels of change. And there should be coming up once more.
This one?
Oh, no. Well, maybe you got the earlier version without them, but I can just go through them easily. There they go. Okay. The levels of change. Some of my traders, it was knowledge. How do options work? What is implied volatility? What is the difference between the futures and the cash market? So those are just, what are the symbols for a particular futures contract? So then we have skills. How do we use this knowledge skillfully? How do we bid? How do we offer? And below that is behaviors. What behavioral changes do we need to make? And it turns out that they rest on beliefs. What do we believe about the world, the markets, and ourselves? And ultimately, it's on our identity. No trader has ever come to me for private coaching and said, Rich, my identity doesn't support my consistent profits. But when we get to work, and with the traders that I've trained, sometimes it comes down to an issue of worthiness. Even professional traders, do I deserve this? My belief is, on an upper level, my belief might be that if I become wealthy and consistently profitable, I'll become a jerk. or my family will reject me. I know these sound silly. Nobody ever believes me. But when we look at behaviors that are just persistent and just cost us so much money, we have to look and say, what is driving those below?
Yep. That's so huge. Because at some point, maybe now traders are asking, and so are we trading, and at the same time we don't believe that we deserve to receive the money?
Yeah. So Theo, you can turn off the share screen if you want now, and that way we can have a conversation.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. So just to repeat one more time, guys, please make sure you write any questions you may have on the chat box, and at the end Richard will answer all the questions.
Yeah. So what we've discovered is that there's a methodology. There are steps that we can go through to determine what level of change we're going through. And we have a course that does it. Of course, in my private coaching, we do that. So if any of you want to talk about or put in the chat box, what is a persistent trading mistake, we can then start to drill down on what makes those happen. And what the normal answer to those questions, and you've heard this from many coaches, is discipline. You need more discipline. You need more willpower.
Yeah.
And so you say, okay, I'm going to be more disciplined. And you are for a week or a couple of weeks, and then something happens, kaboom. Then we drop down into a more reactive behavior. So if it's not willpower or discipline, what is it? So we look at the golden keys, and the golden keys are first awareness. And we have an awareness exercise, and the exercise is to set an alarm when you're trading for every half an hour, 15 minutes, hour, whatever works for you. And when the alarm goes off, you say, in fact, I can do that right now. What are my physical sensations? My stomach's a little tight right now. I'm excited about this. I want it to go well. I want to communicate so much, and my head's kind of going. My physical sensation just is a little tight. Emotionally, I'm excited. It's kind of like I'm kind of a little almost jittery. My thoughts going through my head, or what do I need to say? How can I communicate? So with that awareness, I'm going to say, oh, what would I like now? So to be here with Theo, to have a great conversation. I notice my voice is getting lower. My stomach's relaxing. So when we set an alarm, when we're trading, you can do just what I modeled here, to look at our sensations, our emotions, and our thoughts. So that's the first step that we can do. And what we noticed is, what we notice when we do that is we can now drop down to a deeper level.
Wow. So the first step, that's huge, and we really don't find it easily, this information, like the self-awareness. How do you feel at this moment? How do you what do you think? Are you really here or are you there?
Yes.
Do you trade on a way, maybe like, because it happened to me, of course, I went through all this stuff. Do you trade because you feel bored, or do you trade and because you really want to trade and you are serious about the business? It's like, so going through, a person who becomes aware of the current situation, let's say someone tells, okay, here I am, I'm here in front of the charts, I'm ready to execute if my my edge appear, and I'm ready to go through. Is it a final stage, as you experience with traders? Is it something it needs a lot of practice, someone to come to that level of to that mentality, let's say?
Well, the nice thing and the wonderful thing about trading, it is one of the most challenging careers you can pick up, other than maybe combat, battle, being a fireman or something like that. But if you're not in physical danger, this is the most challenging because it requires a master trader's mindset, and it never ends. I have hedge fund clients who run major hedge funds, and they still run into the same issues because we all have the same human brain. So it is a continual path of challenging ourselves. And for those people who are concentrating on quick money or profits and are unwilling to take that personal challenge, man, it's just like, every day you get beat up and you're exhausted and you're stressed and you need to make money. You have this dream about financial security, about taking care of your family, about helping the world, or whatever that huge dream is. And if you have then every tick against you, every loss is a referendum on that huge dream. And so you're just constantly under stress. So what we do is we invite our traders to step into a master trader's mindset. Mm-hmm. So in fact, this is an exercise everybody listening can do. Yeah. What is a master trader like? What is his mindset? What are his or her emotions? What are their physical sensations? How do they approach trading? How do they approach a loss? If you can define that, now your brain can start to move in that direction. In fact, we have a guided visualization, kind of like a hypnosis session. It's recorded where you step into that and you step out of it and step back into it so that you can experience what it's like to have a master trader's mindset. And my clients will go, once they step into it, they'll go, oh, wow, that feels better. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, we still have the old neural connections, the old triggers and all that. But once we can say, this feels better. Now, this is in contrast to all the coaches who go, you need more discipline, you need more willpower. What we do instead is we invite you into a mindset that actually feels better, honors your values, and gets you to your goal. So it's a constant invitation to something that feels better rather than setting up willpower and stress. Like when a client says, I'll try, I stop them and say, whoa, when you say I try, you're setting up an internal struggle. I need more discipline. You're setting up an internal struggle. Yeah. What if we set it up so that you're stepping into something that feels better? Now, when we do that, oftentimes we'll discover the beliefs, the behaviors, the identity that keeps us from fully stepping into there. But my clients, I always start them by saying, you're a master trader. I believe you're a master trader. That is where we live and breathe. That's who you are. Now, occasionally there's things that get in the road, so let's discover those. But this is where we are. So rather than being a struggling trader, trying so hard to become a master trader, let's step into being a master trader and clean up the issues that keep popping up.
Wow, that's so valuable. I'm sure everyone is blown away from this information, because it's like, instead of going against yourself at the end of the day and beating yourself up, like, oh my God, I'm a very self-driven, I'm a super athlete, or I am great at this field in my industry, I have that competitive nature within me and I'm going to make it in trading. And these people, I find out, and you tell me if you agree as well, they are in a constant battle within themselves, and they just going around without being able to step into the master trader's mindset.
Theo, that is so well said. So well said. So how do we step out of the struggle, and how do we step into the master trader's mindset? And there's a lot of processes and exercises. In fact, we have an assessment that includes the first of the golden keys, which is awareness. So we have the golden keys. The first is awareness. That's like where we set the alarm and what I just did.
Yep.
And I'm going to do it again. Take a breath, relax. This feels better. Oh my gosh, Theo, if I just take a moment right now, check my physiology. Oh my gosh, this feels so much better. So awareness, and then we have acceptance. So we don't beat ourselves up for what we discover. We say, oh, that's interesting. And then we can say, now what we want? So we have a series of exercises in our online courses that allow you to take a step in for all the major issues that traders face.
Awesome, awesome. It will be interesting to ask you this. I'm going to make it with an example, real example from trading, right? Now, let's say someone is an day trader holding positions for less than 24 hours. And it see the price move upwards. Let's make it as simple as possible. Let's say it uses a couple of moving averages, price move upwards. At some point, it sees the prices that they are at the top. It's already far away from the moving averages. And then they see a reversal candlestick pattern, okay? And at that point, that trader is so super focused there, and it's the time, okay, I know what I'm doing. They have trend following system that they work with, but because they recognize that and they believe that the price is overextended, it's time for the price to move backwards. What do? They sell, right? But that's against their trading plan. Their intention is to buy, but maybe they feel some emotions that they left out or they missed the move. They are in a rush to sell. So they sell. And because they are so sure that the price is going to move backwards, the trend is just keep moving higher. And they start getting in those impulse and I'm not going to call it a nonsense mindset. I'm going to just call it a very destructive mindset. And we see that repeating regardless the time frame, regardless, I mentioned a day trader, maybe that's an end of day trader. It happens all the time. So, and those people, they just get confused within their own emotions. So how do you think they have to deal with this kind of attitude / environment?